and she was driving a minivan. Now, if a woman is driving. Okay, guys, so moving from Nigeria to the US to Mexico, I've had 3 different levels of driver's license experience. In Nigeria, the first time I got my driver's license, to be honest, I paid someone, I got my license, that was it. The second time I needed to renew it, I was in Port Harcourt then. Yeah, I was in Port Harcourt then, and I was working. So every time I would, thankfully for me, the road safety of yeah, the Federal Road Safety Office, I think that's the name. It was very close to the hospital I was working in, so I didn't need to go too far. But the problem was that every time I came to do capturing, that's where they take your fingerprints, your picture, and all that. Either there was no electricity, or the systems were down, or the machines were faulty. So I could never ever get it done. So in fact, as I left Nigeria, I didn't have a renewed driver's license. Yeah, so I didn't have a renewed driver's license. So that was like a terrible experience for me in the sense that we couldn't get things to work in Nigeria for it to be done properly. Now, moving to the US, it was on a whole different level because, to be quite honest, it wasn't a bad process, but like I literally jacked for the exam. I've forgotten how many questions there were, but it was multiple choice questions, and you needed to get, I think once you get 80% of the questions correct, the exam automatically stops you. Then you now do your driving test, and then you do the vision test. The vision test was okay. You just you look through something that looks like a microscope or something, and then they tell you to read the signs. If you can't read the signs properly, they will tell you to have your, I think on your driver's license, they will write that you need your glasses on at all times, so you won't constitute a hazard for anybody on the road. Now, the driving exam, the first time I took the driving exam, I failed because they said I was going too slowly. Can you believe that? They said I was going too slowly. So I failed. I took it the second time. I think I had to wait a week. And yeah, that was it. But the thing was that because we just moved to the US, we didn't have a car, and neither did we have insurance. And we needed all that to get a car. Or I'm not sure if we needed that to get a car, or we just waited for that process before we got the car. I can't remember. But we had a friend, Larry. Hi, Larry. We got insurance on Larry's car, so we were able to do the test. And I could use his insurance as his wife. So that's what I presented when I did my own driving test. So I did the second test and I was perfect. I didn't need to do any 3-point turns or parallel parking or anything like that. Like in some other states in the US where, especially where they don't have a lot of land mass, you would need to do all those 3-point turn, parallel parking type of things to ensure that you pass the exam. But this was quite simple. We just went within a residential area and we got and I passed, and yeah, that was it. Just, slow down at the places you need to, stop where you need to stop, stop before the line if there's a traffic light or anything like that. So that was pretty good. But the issue was that the queue at the DMVs were extremely long. So moving to Mexico, however, the experience was pretty easy and pretty straightforward. So the first time we went, the documents we took were proof of address, so water bill, electricity bill, or like internet bill, photocopy of our passport, our CURP. The CURP is the Clave Única de Registro de Población. Well, and that's something you get once you move into Mexico. It's an alphanumerical number that's really long, which has some parts of your last name, your date of birth, and some other alphabets and numbers situated somewhere in. So we got that once we moved to Mexico. You go online, you enter some information, and then you can automatically print it out. So we needed that, and you need to go with an old driver's license that you had. Then you also need to go with your residence card, whether it's a temporary residence card or a permanent residence card. You need to go with that. The good thing about Mexico that is, if you have an international driver's license, you can use that to drive around, to rent a car and all whatnot. They have services which give you insurance when you rent the car as well. But if you want to get a car in Mexico, you need to get a Mexican driver's license. So we went with all the documents. However, the first time we went, we didn't have proof of address in our name. We had it in the landlord's name. So the house we're renting, we took his water bill, and they told us no, that it has to be in either his name, my husband's name, or my name. So we had to wait for our internet bill to come so that we could go back with that. So we went back with photocopies of that and originals, and then all you have to do is go to the first desk. The first desk, you present all these things here. Now, if you don't have a photocopy or you don't have a printout, it's pretty cool because downstairs in the building there's a photocopy machine. Across the road there is like a cyber cafe where you can go and print out your documents. So yes, we gave her the documents, she looked at them and made sure that everything was okay, and then we moved on. Mind you, we went with someone that speaks Spanish because our Spanish wasn't good then. That was like when we first moved into Mexico. So we now went to the second place. Second place had chairs. Everybody sits down, and as you move along the line, you move to the next chair. So in that place, they just reviewed our documents again. I signed something electronically, and they asked for my blood group. Perfect. Now the next stage you go for capturing. So they do thumbprints, fingerprints, and they take your picture. And then you sign like electronically your signature as well. Then you now move on to the stage where you write the exam. Now the exam had only 10 multiple choice questions, but the good thing about it is that it's in Spanish and in English. I'm sorry for the noise. First twin is crying. I think he wants to sleep, so I need to be fast and go and put him to sleep. So, yeah, you do the questions in Spanish or in English, whichever you want. Obviously, we did it in English, and I think you just need to get 6 over 10 to pass. But it's not like the American exam where it automatically cuts you off. No, you have to complete the exam actually. So that's what happened. I got a 7 over 10, and that was it. I passed the exam, so you move on to the next stage. The next stage, however, if you have a driver's license, they are gonna just validate it to make sure that it's an original driver's license and it's not a fake. So all that I did was I took my own. Ken, I had the American driver's license that was still valid. Mine, on the other hand, was expired. It expired a year ago. So I was really nervous, and I thought they were gonna ask me to drive. But the driving is on the same side of the road as America and Nigeria, so it was not gonna be too difficult. If it was the UK, that's on another level. So they took my driver's license, and the guy just took it, put it in there, looked at it, bent it a bit, and then that was it. I don't know whether it was the fact that, I don't know, maybe he didn't see that he had expired. I have no idea exactly what happened, but all I know is that he accepted it, and that was amazing for me because I didn't need to do the driver's test. Now, after that place, we went to another window, and in this window you need to pay. Now, the thing about Mexican driver's license is that we knew we were going to get a sedan, we knew we were going to get a Jeep or like a minivan. It depends on what type of car you have. So our driver's license was for, I can't remember how much, but for that amount. And it was for a sedan. So they kept asking, are you sure? Are you going to upgrade to a pickup truck, a Jeep, or a minivan? If not, you have to get the other driver's license, which is a bit more expensive. And no, like, yeah, we're sure we're going to stay with this one. Like, okay, no problem. We paid the fee. I think my driver's license is for 5 years or 7 years. 3 to 7 years. I left Kenna at the counter, went to go and get coffee and a muffin for breakfast because we went there like early in the morning, so I hadn't eaten breakfast. And I kid you not, before my coffee was ready, my driver's license was ready. And I was like, so I went to the counter, I was like, is that it? She was like, yeah, that's it. Asked us, because obviously we have very long names, Afumachuku, Kenechuku, plus our middle names and our last name. And she was like, where are you from? We told her where you're from. And she was like, oh, bienvenidos to Mexico and all that, which was cool. I was still so shocked that that was the end of the driver's license process. I kid you not, we were in this building for less than an hour and we got our driver's license. There was nothing like, come back tomorrow to pick up the card that's ready or anything like that. It's once you pay, you get it, and that's it. So unless we had failed the exam, that's why we would have needed to come back again to, I'm not sure whether we had to start from the beginning of the process or just go straight to the exam again. So that was super fast and super good. So bring me to the point that I want to have. I don't know whether it's because it's so easy to get a driver's license in Mexico that the women especially drive like they're crazy people. I thought it was only me, like it was peculiar to me. So I go out with the kids in a double stroller and I'm gonna cross the road. First of all, I realized that they don't stop for pedestrians. Obviously, I have to wait for them to finish moving past so quickly and then cross the road. The few times, or the only times, like, I'm not going to say few because I really don't know how many, But the times that people have actually stopped for me is literally a guy that's stopping and he's like flagging down the other cars to stop so that we can pass. Now, I'm not pushing their stroller on like busy highway type of roads. We live in an estate within an estate. So there's a big estate and then we have our own smaller estate. So I always push them out maybe to go to like the corner shop, which is we call it caseneria, which sells like fruits and little things you need for the house. If you run out of something, you just want to quickly go and get it. And they never slow down. The women are like boom, 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 boom. They move by so quickly. Now, I don't have an issue with that. You're in a rush, you need to go somewhere. Okay, you don't stop for the zebra crossing. That's fine. I'm not going to make a fuss or a hassle out of that. But I actually asked Kenneth to, because our kids' daycare is like literally 5 minutes walk from our house. So the days I go out with the car, he would push them in the stroller. So I asked him, does it happen to you? Maybe it's because it's me. And he's like, yeah, it's the same thing. They never stop. So he just has to be patient. Now, what like made me have it up to here was the fact that I went out with the kids, went to get ice cream, and we're coming back. Like I said, whether it's a school day or a weekend or anything, I always wait for them to move before I cross the road. So this car was literally like, let's say I'm here, and the car was literally like all the way out of the screen. So I was like, okay, I have enough time to get to the road. But then she came like with full speed. She came and she was driving a minivan. Now, if a woman is driving a minivan, you know she has kids. Like, unless you're doing some sort of business that needs you to carry a lot of stuff around, you have kids. And I was in the middle of the zebra crossing, and she just came and swerved right around me. Right around me. At that point, like, I was so shocked and afraid at the same time because I was with my kids. Like, even if you don't care about me, you care about the kids. In Nigeria, if somebody sees a woman carrying her kids on her back, you know, whether it's that she's poor, that she wants to walk around on the road, nothing, we would give you some sort of respect. Now, we're not telling, yeah, we'll give you some sort of respect and we'll slow down for you to pass, because as a woman, you would have sympathy, or even as a man, whatever you are, you would have some sort of sympathy that, oh, she's with a kid. It's not just her life that's at stake, it's the kid's life. And I'm pushing a double stroller, like, you can't miss it. There are 2 seats, so there are 2 kids plus me, and you swerve right around me. And I turn to look at her car, and then guess what I see at the back of the car? Soy mama, which means I'm a mother in Spanish. So you're a mother and you do this? Like, if this happened to your kids, how would you feel? Now, me walking on the road does not mean that I don't have a car. It means that I chose to walk on the road. Even if I didn't have a car, so what? At least I'm getting around, I'm getting about doing my daily activities with my kids, because that's all that I could do at that point in time. And you couldn't stop. Like, the first thing that came to my mind is like, that was like, that's a way of saying this person doesn't have home training or is illiterate, because at that point I would believe that you're illiterate for you to do that. Like you don't have any decorum. I don't even know what English word to use to explain how I felt at that point in time, but that's how I felt. I was so pissed off. Then I crossed. So like across my estate, there are like 2 crossings. So you cross and you get to the other one. Now I'm going to show you a video of what actually happened to me. My neighbor saw me crossing, and she didn't even stop, and she was like, oh, how are you? Like, all the time they're between me, oh, the kids are so sweet and more so guapa. And you don't want us to pass, but you're crossing by and you're saying that, like, these are all the cars coming. I am waiting at the, I don't know why this car is parked here. It was always here. And I'm waiting to cross and enter my koto. Can you see? Nobody stops. Like, nobody stops. I know there's a school close by, and there will be traffic coming in, but like you can see, like, human sympathy would allow you to stop for me to pass. So I'm gonna make a move, guys. Hola. Fine. Hi. That lady actually lives in my koto and she didn't stop. You can see, and she's a woman. So that's how it is in Mexico. This lady, I'm gonna show you her car. She passes by driving a BM. Didn't even slow down as we were driving. Can you see? She didn't even slow down. Well, it's a shame, but that's life. My lovely security people always helping. Hola.
Hola, adelante, bienvenida.
Gracias. And we're home. I feel it's so wrong. So for the women that actually do stop, kudos to you. Keep it up. For the women that don't stop, please stop. This could be your kid, your daughter, your cousin, your niece crossing the road. And if something happens, wherever you're rushing to, wherever you need to get to so quickly, you're going to stop. Because in Mexico, if there's an accident, you literally stop where the accident happened. You're not allowed to leave that scene. So wherever you're rushing to is forgotten because you have to be there till the police comes in and insurance comes in to take care of the matter. If you're in a rush somewhere, leave your house on time. I understand that sometimes things happen and you can't, but it's better to be safe than to be sorry. So thank you for watching this video. I do hope I gave some information about driving in Mexico, about from my rant. I hope you have a lovely day. Do remember to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.